Boys and girls, please note that we will be conducting these lessons on a regular basis at 8 p.m. It's going to continue throughout the year. I'm hoping that we get a fairly decent turnout today and probably an even bigger turnout as things get closer to your tests or exams. It's simply here to consolidate what we've done for the week and to also prepare you for some of the level 4 questions that we're going to come across as we get deeper into the section. But because we've essentially only had about a week and a half of sort of real work that we've actually done, right, today's lesson is not going to be exceptionally long, but I'd like to actually consolidate all the hydrocarbons that we've done thus far. And that's quite important that we actually do this because by next week, we will finish all the naming and then we will be able to get into past exam papers. Your first question in organic chemistry is going to be predominantly on naming and isomers. What isomers are, don't worry about that. We're going to do that quite likely next week. I'm hoping to actually see more learners over here than just the number that we have. I'm hoping that more of them will actually join as we get into the lesson. I also want to just impress upon all of you that the grade 12 year, especially with the physical science, right, as much as you're going to have enough marks to pass, I want most of you to actually end up with very, very high marks as well. So not just the A class, but also the lower set. If anyone over here, I think Vincenzo, you here, if you could just inform the rest of the group about the lessons as well and just remind them to attend, I'd appreciate that. But without wasting any further time, I'm just going to continue with some of the naming over here. But we haven't done much. So as I said, today's lesson is going to be mainly just exploratory, just to make sure that you've understood all the rules we've covered so far and you can actually name properly. I'm going to choose these questions randomly. We're going to do the alkanes, the alkenes, and the alkynes. And I'm going to start off with this very first question that I've got over here. But I'm going to do the first one, and then I'm going to allow you to do the next one. For those of you that were in school today, you got a copy of this. You're more than welcome to actually take that out and actually work from there. Or you could just look at the screen and you could give me the answers as well. I'd appreciate maximum participation from all of you because the aim over here is to ensure that you guys actually understand all the work that we've done for the week. Right? So let's start. 5.2. When you're applying your IUPAC rules, the first rule, identify the main chain. Please note that the main chain doesn't have to necessarily be straight. So my main chain over here, this is too big. So my main chain is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Note, I didn't go straight here. Would straight be better? Sure, it would be better, right? But I've just shown you that your main chain doesn't have to be a straight chain. And you start numbering from the side closest to your side chains. Now here, whether you number from the top or you number from the bottom, you're going to find that both your side chains are going to land on the same carbon of the main chain, right? So we've got a methyl side chain here. We've got another methyl side chain there. And I'm going to start numbering from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just going to change this a bit, guys. The name of this, on the second carbon and on the third carbon, you've got these two methyl side chains. So that's going to be 2, 3. Oh, this is too thick. 2, 3 dimethyl. And then your main chain is 4. That's going to be butane. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do 5.4 here. This time I'm going to make my life easy. I'm going to look for the longest continuous chain of carbons, and I'm going to choose the straight one. This doesn't have to necessarily be the only main chain. You could have went in a bit of a curvy path as well. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. You could have also went, I think there may be more. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the last person that came in, you want to mute yourself? Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've also given you basically the same name. But so as far as you can, if you have a choice between taking a zigzag pattern, in other words, a pattern that looks like this here, and something that goes straight, try and choose your main chain to be straight. It just makes the naming easier, but they obviously have to be the same length. But then I'm going to just quickly ring my side chains again. I've got a methyl there, and I've got an ethyl here. Now, there was a bit of confusion about this the last time we actually did this, so I just want to explain the rule again. You number from the side closest to any side chain. So any one of the two, the methyl or the ethyl, can have the lower number, which means I have to start my numbering from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's correct. If I started from the other side, 1, 2, 3, my first side chain would be on 3. If I start from the green side, which is from the left-hand side, my first side chain is on 2. So you start numbering from the side closest to any side chain as long as it's the lowest. 2 is lower than 3 here. And then we name. When we're naming, we are always going to name the ethyl before the methyl, even if it's in a higher position. Right? So here, it's going to be 4 ethyl, 2 methyl, and then your main chain, hexane. What? Let's start us off over here. I'd like you guys to actually help me out with this name here, 5.6.
Sir, 2,4,6 trimethylheptane.
All right, let's go for that. Heptane, you said, eh? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to start off, well, it doesn't matter which side you start here. Because if you start from this side, it will be 2, then 4, and then 6. If you start from this end here, it's going to be 2, 4, and then 6 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 2,4,6 trimethyl. And the 7 carbons is heptane. What? Let's do 5.7 now. Somebody else, please.
4-methyl octane.
Okay, excellent. I think 4-methyl octane is correct. Let's highlight the main chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think it doesn't matter from which side you're obviously going to number, because I think if you number from this side, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. If you number from the other side, it's also going to be 4. Excellent stuff. 4-methyl octane. Let's do 5.9 here. That's a bit of an interesting looking one. I don't want anyone to scream out the answer. Somebody else who didn't answer as yet, you can tell us how many carbons in the main chain first. Okay, anyone?
7, sir.
7 carbons. Let's see if there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here, you had to sort of snake it a bit. You couldn't go straight, because if you went straight, you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 would definitely be longer. Which side do we start the numbering from? So note we've got a methyl side chain here, and we've got an ethyl side chain on the top there. If you look carefully, your closest side chain starts at the bottom here on position 2. So you'll start your numbering from the bottom. So it's 4 ethyl, 2 methyl, heptane. 513. Let's see who gets this one right. Anybody wants to firstly help us out with the number of carbons in the main chain?
Is it 11?
11. I don't think we would go above 10 in any question, and because this is from a book which is based on your syllabus, I'm finding it difficult to believe that it's above 8.
Sir, it's 8.
Please note that in class, I told you that for your syllabus requirement, you only have to go up to 8. So I'm gonna go for it and tell you what my main chain looks like. I'm gonna go for this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, what do we have as side chains now? We've got an ethyl side chain there. We have another ethyl side chain there. We've got a methyl side chain there. Which side do we start the numbering from, anyone?
Left.
Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, somebody wants to give me the name now? Somebody who hasn't given a name as yet? Don't feel shy enough. This lesson is only a GC lesson. There's nobody else here. And you guys normally have tons of questions and you actually respond quite rapidly. So let's go for it, guys. 3,4, you name your ethals first. So 3,4, diethyl. 5-methyl. And then 8-octane. (514) anyone? I just want the complete name. So I want you to work through it on your own.
So is the longest chain 7?
Let's see if the longest chain is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I'm gonna go with 7 as well. Anybody wants to give us the name, the full name now? Somebody else, please.
4-ethyl, 3,4
Correct.
dimethyl heptane.
Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4-ethyl. 3,4 dimethyl. Heptane. All right, we're going to do some of these alkenes now. I'm just going to start off with the first 2 or 3 just to recap the rules for alkenes. You number from the side closest to the double bond. The double bond is more important than a side chain. So identify your main chain, identify your side chains, number from the side closest to the bond as opposed to the side chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason for starting from this side, because your bond lands on position 2 if you start from this side. 5 carbons is pent. You put the position of the bond before the ene part of the name. So pent 2-ene. Here, this is a bit of a unique one. We actually didn't do this in class. I want to explain the rule over here. You're going to find that you may, I don't think you will, but you may get a strange scenario where you may get the longest chain, but the longest chain itself will not contain the double bond. Let me show you what I mean by this. If you identify the main chain here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you go down this way, the double bond lands up in the side chain here. Your double bond can't be in the side chain. The double bond has to be part of the main chain. So what do we do then? To ensure that the double bond is part of the main chain, you are allowed to sacrifice the length of the main chain, which means you can have a slightly shorter main chain to ensure that the double bond lands in that main chain, which means your main chain here is actually 5. I haven't seen one like this tested ever in a grade 12 paper. So you are allowed to sacrifice the length to accommodate the double bond, which is called now, boys and girls, there's a name given to the double bond. It's called the functional group. You start from the side closest to the bond. Sorry, before we get to that. So this becomes now an ethyl side chain. You start from the side closest to the bond. So therefore the bond lands on position 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 2 ethyl pent 1 in. As I said, this is a bit of a strange rule where you're sacrificing the length of the main chain to accommodate the double bond. Right, last one I'm going to do. My main chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 carbons in the main chain. My side chains, I've got a methyl side chain there, and I've got another methyl side chain there. Starting off at the bottom. Why at the bottom? Your bond must be at its lowest position. If you start from the bottom here, your bond lands on position 3. If you started from this end, your bond would have landed on position 4. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here, another important rule comes up. Sorry, no, not in this one. You've got a methyl side chain on the 3rd carbon. You've got a methyl side chain on the 4th carbon. So it's 3, 4 dimethyl. 8 is oct. Position of the triple bond is 3. Oct 3 in. Right. Guys, can you help me out with 6.6 here? It's not a difficult one. Okay, anyone?
Is it 2,3,3 pins 2 in?
Almost there. I think the pent 2 in is correct. There's 5 carbons in the main chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 2, 3, no. You mean 2, 4, 4.
Oh yeah, sorry, sir. Yeah, 2, yeah.
right? There's something you missed out, but anybody wants to add something? Yes,
Sir.
go for it.
Is it 2,4,4 trimethyl pens 2 in?
Very good. 2,4,4. These are methyl side chains. Don't forget the trimethyl, right? Sorry, pent 2 in. $6.12, someone? You can give me the full name once you got it. 612.
Two comma five dimethyl hept 3 in.
Okay, let's see how many carbons in the main chain, everyone. For 612. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First thing you need to ensure is that your bond position is at its lowest. So what we have here is essentially a methyl side chain here and another methyl side chain there. We need to decide which side we're going to start the numbering from. If I start from the bottom here, my bond lands on position 4. If I start from the other side, my bond lands on position 3. So the person that actually gave the answer was 100% correct. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2,5 dimethyl kept 3 in. 613, someone? That's pretty easy. There's your main.
dimethyl non-5-ene.
Let's start with the main chain first. Whoever said that. Sure, you're going to start from this side. Which means you got a methyl there, and an ethyl there. Anybody wants to assist with the name? Come on, guys, I'm not going to give you the name. This is quite easy now.
Three ethyl, 2,2
Right.
dimethyl, hept 3-ene.
Very good. You start from this side. Why? Because your bond is on position 3 when you start from this side. Three ethyl. Two, 2 dimethyl. Hept 3-ene. This one. 614. That looks interesting.
So is it 6,6 dimethyl hep 2-ene?
All right, let's. I don't know the answer. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to work it out with you. So my main chain would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could have went 7 across as well, right? Let me just explain that. You didn't have to go 7 down. You could have went 7 across. I'm just going down to be fancy. So what do we have here? We've only got methyls here. So you need to watch out. I think that answer had a bit of a problem because I had a dimethyl. 1, 2, 3.
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
forgot the one on the right. Yeah.
Okay. So you got, and please start from the side, not closest to the side chains, closest to the bond. 1, and the bond is on position 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 2, 6, 6 trimethyl hept 2-ene. I want to proceed to the alkynes as well. Why? The only difference is the suffix at the end. In place of putting an "ene", you're going to put an "ein", and the naming follows exactly the same rules as before. In other words, we actually are done with all the complexities in terms of the rules. We're just going to tweak it a bit when we deal with all these different compounds now. I want you to also note, for today's lessons, we're only dealing with compounds which have carbon and hydrogen in it. Next week, you're going to have an onslaught of all the others, and I'm going to start straight on Monday with them, right? My aim is not to sort of focus on these 3 only. I'm using these 3 to sort of cement the rules so that when I do the rest of them, they're pretty straightforward. Right, so just to show you how this works, again, you're going to start from the side closest to the triple bond. So your main chain, firstly, is 4. You're going to start from the side closest to the triple bond, as I said. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is bute. Your position of your triple bond is 1. And the suffix at the end is not "-ine" anymore. It's "-ein". So it's bute 1-ein. The next one. I'm going to go pretty fast now. There's your main chain there. You're going to have an ethyl side chain there. Start from the side closest to the triple bond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got an ethyl side chain on number 3. So 3 ethyl. 7 is hept. Ethyl hept is one word. Position of the triple bond is 1. Hept 1-ein. So the only difference is here at the end now. Everything else remains exactly the same in terms of the rules. Somebody wants to do 5.5 for me, please? That's pretty straightforward, eh? But I remember when we had these lessons in grade 10 in the first term, somebody had taken the liberty of creating a little channel for all these videos that we had in grade 10. But may I just suggest that somebody does that, please, for these grade 12 ones that are going to come up, because we're going to have quite a few of these lessons coming up for the year, and obviously even more lessons coming up closer to your paper, right? So there's quite a few people that are not here as well that have asked me to please have them available. So if you could just upload them, and I'm not sure who was it. I think it was Alex that actually did it for us. If you could just put it up, please.
Gina,
Jane, or did you do it?
so it's the answer 4,4 dimethyl hep 2-ein. Yeah.
Very good. That's exactly what it is. Let's go for the main chain first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the 4th carbon, we got our methyl side chains there. So it's going to be 4,4 dimethyl hept 2-ein. 5.7, someone? How many carbons in the main chain, anyone? Let's start there.
6.
6.
6. Let's see if I get 6 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I went straight across, I would have got 5. So there is 6, correct. And there's the 6 there. Note, you've got a methyl side chain there, and you've got an ethyl side chain there. Anyone with the name now?
I don't know how to put it together, so but I got it.
Right, go for it. Start with the ethyl, then the methyl.
So it's 3,3 ethyl methyl hex 1-ein.
Okay, close. Separate them, right? So it's 3 ethyl. So do the ethyl separately.
Oh, okay.
3 ethyl, 3 methyl, and then hex 1 ion.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. 5.9, anyone? You must have the triple bond as part of the main chain, eh? Anyone? Mr. Peer? Mr. Peer is asleep. How
Sir,
many carbons? Yes, sir.
is it 3,5 diethyl 3-methyl hept 1 ine?
Sounds good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are all your side chains there. That's a ethyl there. That's a ethyl there. And that's a methyl there. You start your numbering from the side closest to the bond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So ethyls first. 3,5 diethyl. 3-methyl. Hept 1 ion. Let's go across. 5.8, anyone?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
is it 3,6 diethyl 2-methyl oct 4 ine?
Sounds good. I just want to explain that because I think this one requires a little bit of explanation. So there's our main chain here, firstly. And I want to just quickly talk about this before we go any further. So if I start from this end here, 1, 2, 3, 4, my double bond is on position 4. If I start from the other side, my double bond is on position 4 as well. Now, if your bond position is the same from both sides, then the next thing you must ensure is that the side chains are in their lowest position as well. So it's not just worrying about the bond position only and saying, okay, the bond position is the same from both sides. I can number from any side. That's not true. If the bond position is the same from both sides, then the side chain must also be at its lowest. Now, if you started from this side, your first side chain would be on 3. But if you started from the other side, your first side chain would be on 2. 2 is lower than 3 if you started from the opposite side. So you have to start from the side where your side chain is also at its lowest. So therefore, you're starting from this end. Whoever gave the answer, that was a brilliant answer, by the way. Right? So ensuring your bond position at its lowest is the first priority. And if it's the same from both sides, then you check that the side chains are the lowest. Let's see who remembers this. If the side chains are the same from both sides as well, what's the next thing you would check? So let's assume the bond position is the same from both sides. The side chain positions are also the same from both sides. What's the third level at which you will check this? Let's see who remembers this. Anyone? Somebody knows the answer to this question.
So what was the question?
If the bond position is the same from both sides, and the side chain positions are also the same from both sides, what's the next thing you will check to determine which side you start from? We did this in class.
So which side chains methyl and which side chains an ethyl?
Very good. You check where the ethyl and the methyl is. Because if the side chain positions are the same from both sides, then you need to go deeper and see if ethyl's got the lower position. Then you start from the side where ethyl lands on the lower position. Now, they've never checked, they've never ever given a question where the bond positions were the same from both sides. The side chain positions were the same from both sides. And then you had to check where the ethyl landed and ensure that the ethyl was at the lowest position. So if you didn't get that, don't worry about it because they won't test it. But that's the third layer you will check at. So whoever gave the answer and said you're starting from this side was absolutely correct because your first side chain is on position 2 there. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8. Yeah. So you got an ethyl here on position 3. And you got an ethyl again on position 6. So it's going to be 3,6 diethyl, 2 methyl, oct 4 ion. All right, gentlemen. Thank you for attending this lesson. It's our first. We haven't had the best turnout. I'm almost certain that with the rest of them realizing that the number of learners that are actually taking the work seriously has increased, I'm sure the rest of them will also be attending this. If someone can please upload this video for everyone so that they actually have access to it, that would be great. Right. I'll put up the link for this a little bit later, and you could just put it up for me. Right, guys. So we'll meet second break in class and continue from where we stopped with the Newton's law question, the one I asked you to complete for homework. Anyone completed it? Not yet. Try it this weekend. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
So did you give a worksheet for the Newton's law thing or something?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, so
And I don't
yeah,
think everybody got it. I'll actually make some extra copies on Monday. And if you're coming in, then you'll have a copy of it. but we
Okay,
stopped
thank
at
you,
a very
sir.
difficult. No
Yeah,
problem.
because Mr. Chetty's class, we didn't do any
Revision
Newton's
yet,
law
yeah.
or anything. Yeah.
Okay, please note as well, I'm not doing the easy questions in Newton's laws. But I'm only focusing on the difficult questions because we actually did them to death last year, right? And I'm also doing it because there may be, I didn't see it in the scope as yet. There may be a question coming out in Newton's laws in your first control paper. Technically, it's not supposed to be there, right? But I don't know. When we get closer to the exam, then I'll let you know. Right,
Okay,
guys.
thank you, sir.